Jesus pointed out the secret of supply in his admonition to take no thought what ye shall eat. Take no thought. It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Whatsoever things you need, your Father knoweth even before you ask. Take no thought. Who by taking thought can add 1 inch to his stature? Well, let's be practical here right now. Let's cater just a little bit to this matter of intellectualism so that we can make this make sense. But remember, ineffability, infinity, cannot be limited to making sense. If it could be limited to making sense, it would not be the illimitable. Compris? Well, how does one go about taking no thought? How is it possible to remain free of thought? Well, let's say concerning pressing obligations, and especially when it seems that a lack of thought-taking just might be what it takes to overlook something or to fail to do something, or what is necessary to run a business, you know. I'm asked so often, isn't it difficult to remain thought-free at a time like this? Well, now, the ability to take no thought lies in one's acknowledgement of his identity. Oh, my goodness, you old-timey metaphysicians, how many times have you heard that? But let's see how simple this is. Just as quickly as one acknowledges the fact of identity, and we began at the top. Now we begin with the ineffable, and the ineffable's own self-knowledge of what the ineffable is. We discover that, beginning at the top, that we find that this awareness is that self-knowledge going on. And that's the identity we are. Awareness is who and what we are. Just as quickly as one acknowledges the fact that he is awareness itself, and awareness only, then one finds it possible to stop the thinking and the planning and the calculating done by the old me sense who professes to possess awareness, to own awareness. The me who says, this is my awareness, and I want my awareness to show me the world the way I want it to be. Awareness itself is the identity of you and me. Awareness is the action of the only Godhead, the only fountainhead, the only mind. Let the only mind be all there is to this identity. Right here, right now, good friend. The alone one mind is already being perfectly and is perfectly being. It is already functioning perfectly. Awareness is this functioning going on, and this awareness listening to this is this function happening. Therefore, there's no need for another one on the scene. There's no need for a me sense, a pseudo-identity, an awareness that belongs to Bill or Ruth or Mary or John to enter the act and attempt to direct the divine consciousness, to attempt to direct Godhead. Anyway, where would such an ego come from, really? Where would such a pseudo-sense come from? Well, if God isn't going to create a fictitious selfhood, why should we try to be that fictitious dream identity? Why try to be something that isn't possible? Why try to be a second God only to suffer the trials and tribulations of judging and experience and liking this and hating that and wanting this and not wanting that, and loving this and trying to destroy that, of burying part of it, of watching part of it, birthing, beginning, and so forth. Now, what do? If perfection is already the fact, well, there isn't a thing on the face of the earth that a me sense must do about it, or understand about it, or practice, or demonstrate in order to make Godhead more perfect, or more perfectly understood, because Godhead understands itself. The belief that a me sense must read this or that, or practice this or that, to understand more about Godhead, is some of that unadulterated hogwash that we've been bathed in, that we've bathed ourselves in. Oh, but for good reason. We do it. We live the me sense in order to know what the divine sense is, and to know it, and know we know it. In the same way, one lives darkness apparently in order to know and know what light is beyond any shadow of a doubt. We live change in order that we might know changelessness, the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. Well, for myself, I've stopped playing the part of the possessor of awareness. I just don't do it. Don't have to. I'm not acting the slave master anymore, trying to tell awareness what it's supposed to have in it and not have in it, and who's supposed to be here and not here, and dollars, how many dollars should come or how many dollars shouldn't. I am not making demands on perfection. Don't have to. As awareness itself is who and what I am. And if any possession or ownership goes on, then this awareness belongs to Godhead, is Godhead's functioning happening, period. God's activity, for which God alone is responsible. And here I rest. And by George, here I make my stand. And you know what? I've found now that anyone can do this. Anyone can do it, whether they've ever read a book on metaphysics or not. Anyone can do it. Look outside the window and watch a bird somewhere. It's being the awareness of God. Well, this stand isn't to be construed as an effort that one has to make. It isn't waging a battle. It isn't girding up one's loins. It might be called that to the intellect. It isn't putting on the armor of the Lord, though it might appear that way, or seem that way to one looking on. To be awareness is a simple, complete rest. A rest from being the ego. A rest from making all of these incessant judgments of good and evil, of right and wrong, of I like and I don't like. To be awareness alone, which is what we are, but to be it is to understand. And then simply let go of the pseudo-personality, the separation and its dualism, and the sense of otherness. We give up the ego by understanding that ego is the means by which egolessness is made plain. There's nothing wrong with ego. There's nothing wrong with me-sense. Me-sense is the means by which identity, is made plain. In exactly the same way that darkness allows us to see starlight, the twinkling of distant galaxies. Folks, what I've said is true and faithful. Put it to the test and see for yourself.